Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the Burrito Barasia, aka the 140 times social distancing champion, undefeated, undisputed, aka put my lips under there. Bringing you, I can't even. I can't even. Ugh. Wow, that's horrible. I'm sorry. I gotta. I couldn't even recover from that. All right. Let me get that maturity out. Bring you yet another episode of Switches Sites, the gaming podcast where I talk about just that. Episode 71 to be exact. Today's date is September 3rd, 2020. The world is still horrible. I mean, I feel like that should be my slogan now. The world is still horrible. But hey, it is what it is. It's been a pretty filled week, I'd say this week in particular. For sure. Let me get my codes down. You know what? Yeah, I could just do that. Pretty packed news week. A pretty interesting barrage of news came out this week that is very captivating, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I mean, let's just stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. Nvidia came out of hiding. They came out with that fire this past Tuesday, where they announced their new line of graphics cards. The GTX, no, not the GTX, the RTX. It's been so long. I've been in that generation now that we're in a whole different one. It just changes the whole game. But the RTX series line of cards, with the RTX 3070, 3080, and that beefy boy, that 3090. That boy beefy. That boy beefy. And actually they really had a very impressive showing in terms of just power all around. And even a lot of these cards, at least based on the research I did, various tech YouTubers and stuff like that. Geez, like even the lowest card in this new line dwarfs, I think, the 2080 Ti, which is insane because Nvidia, Nvidia's I would say is pretty known to very strictly restrict very strictly what's the word, ration their upgrades each generation, it feels like, where there's like a reasonable line of a parity between like the current generation and the previous one, but this one is a significant leap, to the point where at least from what I've been researching, and understandably so, a lot of people that got the RTX 2000 line of cards feeling real burnt out right now, which I would understandably so, considering like the lowest card dwarfs the highest card of that generation, which like going back to what I was saying, generally doesn't um really work out like that, where it's normally a reasonable, you know, years of improvement. But this one is like substantial. And even on top of that, the prices are pretty damn good considering, previous generations and what those cards were priced at as well. So definitely interesting as to why they're doing this, which is yeah, that in of itself is kind of interesting and I want to know more about. But um one thing I've been hearing is that it's potentially they're trying to directly compete with these next generation consoles coming out, which would make a lot of sense since um that would essentially be potentially cutting into their market. And I think also last generation, the 2000 series, also didn't have too hot of sales as well, overall, which is understandable because I mean, like, even includes myself waiting to upgrade um, to a new graphics card because I'm sitting on the 1080 Ti right now, and I was like, at some extent, kind of tempted by the 2000 series, but I was like, I'm not. It didn't really feel like enough for me to really warrant me, making the jump just yet. I was at least with my setup with 1080 Ti's and SLI, which that's a whole nother thing too to kind of talk about as well. But um, I was pretty much getting reasonable, performance that was satisfactory for me, especially considering that I don't really play PC too much compared to console. I still play it a little bit, but not as much as a console. But it just didn't seem to make sense to jump during the 2000 generation. But now definitely feels like it. Especially we have the new this card line will bring the HDMI 2.1 standard, which is going to be huge for the next generation of well, I guess as well with the consoles, but with TVs and stuff as well. So that's pretty huge. Getting that full capability 4K 120 FPS, that buttery smooth crisp performance is so great. Um, and yeah, going back to what I was saying about SLI, RIP SLI. It just seems each generation is slowly diminishing to the point of just irrelevancy. Um, at least that was what I always generally would do. SLI either up front or gradually get get to graphics cards to double the power to the point where it rivals at least the top of the top cards, which now it's not really even doesn't even make sense really nowadays, considering just very the lack of support for many games natively doing it. I guess technically using a Nvidia inspector you could force it, but then that just throws in a whole bag of variables and other things to troubleshoot on top of that, which at least me personally, I mean, that's kind of what is always take a sip. Always been my issue with PC is just the potential um troubleshooting time trying to set up each game initially. Um, in a lot of cases, it's fine, but in some rare cases, and normally when it happens, it's very, very extensive troubleshooting time trying to figure out how to even play the game normally, ideally. which, all that time you could be playing on console, um, 3, 4 hours in, but nope, you're spending that troubleshooting the game. But it's very generally situational. I know Windows 10 has some really iffy updates where, at least my issue specifically with HDR was causing a lot of just headache and issues all around. But at least with the recent updates, it seems like HDR has been resolved mostly, I believe. I haven't really run into it since then. But then again, it's like I very rarely play on PC. Um, Only for certain particular games, really. But um, yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. Yeah, just sad that SLI is just out of it now. It's kind of sucks. You could technically do it, but it just doesn't make sense at all now. Just the benefits and just very, yeah. So probably single card GPU this go around. Um, and man, just the performance, the showcase. So I guess let's kind of like analyze and dissect, at least kind of a recap what we did see. So pretty much they showed the new architecture, Ampere, I guess the official term now. Um, I forgot like the official terms, but I think the 10,000 series or 1,000, I mean, were on Pascal. I forgot. Yeah, Pascal, and in this generation, the 2000 3000 series is Ampere, I believe. I want to say, could be totally wrong about that. Um, no, I think it's with each generation. So I think the 2000 series was its own thing, and then 3000 is now their own thing with Ampere. So, but man, just from the looks of it, it seems very impressive. They showed some showcase of some of the games. What was the one? Oh god, they show Fortnite and RTX on. Like, I guess. Not really the biggest fan of Fortnite personally, but I mean it's cool, I guess. They showed um Cyberpunk, a little bit of that. That's definitely a game I'm for sure planning to play on PC. What else? Um they didn't show Doom Eternal, but they released a trailer, I think sometime today, uh showing it being played on RTX. Um there was some other Call of Duty um Cold War. They showed that a little bit of like cutscene, in-game engine cutscene slash yeah, I guess that's really essentially what it was. So that's cool. Um yeah, man. And oh yeah, they also were toting these monitors that could play at like 360 hertz, which is like what? And then and that's the other thing too, because with the RTX 3090, that big beefy boy, um, they said that will be able to play 8K at 60 FPS, not natively, but with a DLSS, and that's like, it. That's I think now we're starting to get into that weird iffy territory where it's like, can you even perceive um 8K? You know, I don't know. Then I'm speaking as someone who hasn't seen 8K, but at least in comparison to 4K, I believe that's, at least in terms of theories and stuff, that's the max that you can see. You can't technically see any of the benefits of anything past 4K. Uh, quote, or quote marks, heavy quote marks, but seems like it makes sense. But I don't know. Yeah, 8K, that's just crazy. That's pretty crazy. But I mean, hey, if you if you have $20,000 to spend on an 8K TV, obviously you probably have enough to get a graphics card to play games on it. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Now when you put it in perspective that way, it does. So yeah, that's great. That's great. Um, but yeah, at least all of these cards seem to be pretty capable of at least 4K 60, which at least I've definitely been struggling to even reach at a comfortable level without scaling everything up to, or I forgot the term, downscaling or doing the what is it called? Not native, but particle subparticle subsampling. No, that's upscaling. But essentially, basically, degrading the graphics quality. I think it's adaptive graphics, adaptive resolution. I think it's adaptive resolution, or it's some more accurate term than that, but essentially adaptive resolution, where the resolution will drop and adjust to acclimate to the performance needs of the game and kind of, um, essentially adjust itself. So if one scene or area in a game is more demanding, the graphics quality will lower, and then but maintain a particular frame rate or something like that. So that's gonna be great, just to have that, and also to enjoy that potential glorious 4K 60 and uninterrupted ultra settings to the max. That's the only way you can do it. That's the only way you can do it. You know it, and I know it. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? Only you and I know that. Why am I talking dirty? Let me stop. Trying to think of any other particular points. Oh yeah, the presentation was funny. At least the head of Nvidia, he did the whole event in his kitchen. He revealed the 3080. It was hiding in plain sight behind a multicolored array of spatulas, and then he revealed that big boy, that big juicy boy, that 3090 out that stove, because it was cooking. It was cooking and it was hot. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get into ASMR territory, but I just, when certain, just, you can't just say 3090 and not bask in its greatness. That big juicy boy, you just gotta do that. I'm sorry. And then I forgot they called it BF GPU. It's a big fucking GPU. Because I think they said it's gonna be like insane size. It's like three graphics card slots, and yeah, that boy gonna be big. That boy gonna be big and juicy. Um, so yeah, which is interesting because I know in previous generations, this technically would be the Titan RTX, but it is, compared to the previous lines of graphics cards, it is a pretty competitive price, and as well as they're toting it to be gaming focused as well with the 8K 60 FPS also. So um all around, man, these lines of graphics cards is crazy. You got the 3070 at 1499, not 1499, 499. Uh and that's fast. That's still crazy to me. That's faster than the top of the line 2080 Ti, which, yeah, man, it's crazy. You never see that. I mean, of course, I guess you could technically take this with all with a grain of salt, but I mean, in terms of how they presented it, it seems pretty reputable, as well as Digital Foundry, they also did a breakdown analysis of the I think the 3080 in particular, but they weren't allowed to mention specs and frame rates and stuff like that. So um, it seemed pretty legit. So you know, then I know one thing they did mention, which is definitely a pretty big indication of them trying to go for the neck of PS5 and Xbox Series X. I guess a little less Series X, but I guess technically somewhat um is basically this card will be implemented in this new architecture. I forgot what it's called. Basically, it utilizes PCIe 4.0, where you essentially will be able to um, refer to the data. So let's say if you have an NVMe drive, I'm sorry to get real jargony and technical. I guess that's kind of heater with it, but I think it gets real technical at this point. But essentially, the graphics card will be able to refer directly to the hard drive, um, basically making it more in line with the current the next generation of consoles, where that's that's technically was the advantage it had over traditional PCs, but now Nvidia is pretty much even in that playing field now that technically um, PCs will still have an advantage now, being able to load directly off a NVMe drive in the same manner as PS5 and Xbox One X, Series X. So, and why I said Microsoft not so much is that they also said that this will be useful for Windows is Microsoft Windows Direct Storage, which I guess is some future implementation which will utilize this architecture as well. So technically, Microsoft could benefit from this since a lot of the exclusive Series X titles will be coming to PC as well. So it's man, when you think about it, yeah, Microsoft is kind of playing it smart. Man, they really are. When you think about it in that way. So all in all, man, it's pretty good. And it also is good for progressing game development to have more efficient loading and being able to do things we've never seen before in games, based off this architecture on both now coming up PC as well as the next generation console. So all in all, man, it's looking real good. Just real good for just consumers and the gaming industry, hands down. But man, oh, looking so good and juicy. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much covers. Yeah, we talked about the. Did we? I don't think we talked about the monitors. I think we did, but I guess to touch a little bit more on it, I guess essentially using this similar architecture that they're gonna have some way to reduce latency significantly by like 20 milliseconds, from what they were saying. So this is definitely a big boon for competitive gamers and stuff like that. Um, so one of the most prominent competitive players known to man. I mean, I have to. Yeah, it's been a while since I've upgraded my monitor. I'm still I'm still in that 60 FPS club. It's probably why I haven't fully put the PC Master Race crown on my head yet. But yeah, probably when I get a higher FPS monitor, That's probably when it might get serious. Just a little bit. Just a little bit serious. Um so yeah. They also had or touched on some of the I guess streamer friendly features or streamer centered features where basically they showed I forgot the term. I think they had some particular terminology for it, but basically they had this whole suite of tools for streamers. In terms of one for basically giving you a green screen effect, like some software does, where essentially it gives you the green screen effect without having a green screen. Where essentially AI pretty much works to cut cut you out in terms of yourself and do whatever you please in terms of overlay yourself over gameplay and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Just curious to see if it actually follows through and actually does work reliably as it was presented. They also showed the RTX voice. I think they renamed it now. They didn't seem to use that terminology anymore. But essentially, it's that super ridiculously impressive software that I'm using now. They also presented, which is pretty great too. Then I think they said even what was crazy too is that freaking with 3090 you can record your gameplay at 8K 30 FPS, which is that's still insane. Using Nvidia's proprietary recording software, Shadowplay. Regardless, that's still insane. Overall, man, yeah, I am very, very impressed with Nvidia showing with their series line of cards. Um, Definitely curious to see how AMD is gonna really stack up against it, but we'll see. We'll see. They got some big shoes to fill, or make and put against the Nvidia RTX line, but we shall see. We shall see. Good on Nvidia though, man. Yeah. These cards are gonna sell insanely quick. Considering our climate, our continued reliance on computers with, a lot of us with working from home and stuff like that. Yeah, overall, man, it's gonna be a crazy one. It's gonna be crazy. But yeah, I think that pretty much covered the whole Nvidia event. Yeah, man. Again, really impressive stuff from what they showed, hands down. Moving on. Out of nowhere. Well, I guess not really out of nowhere. We kind of saw it. Everybody saw it coming, but the highly leaked info of a 3D Mario's getting ported to Switch actually did come to fruition earlier today, where they had a Mario Direct, where they pretty much had just a cavalcade of Mario related stuff and fandom now. I guess we'll try to touch on everything if possible. They started it off, they talked about a Mario Game and Watch, which basically you can play the entirety of Mario on it, as well as a couple Game and Watch games. Fine. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's like that's directly going for collectors, but outside of that, what else? I think they also revealed Super Mario All Stars coming to Super Nintendo Online, which is the free to play Nintendo service, which has a selected assorted library of Super Nintendo games you can play if you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. Then I think after that they revealed Super Mario 3D World. Yeah, Super Mario 3D World, which is the 4 player Mario, which I think now will have online. That's confirmed apparently, as well as some additional content called Bowser's Saga, Bowser's Fury, I think. Um, so that looks pretty enticing. As somebody who didn't play that in particular, that piques my interest. Then they have Super Mario. I forgot what they called it, but basically Super Mario Brothers Battle Royale, where basically you can play. To my understanding, the first Super Mario Brothers original, not the original, the you know what I mean, not the old Super Mario Brothers, but the original Super Mario Brothers that came on the Nintendo Entertainment System. You can play that with up to, I think they said 30 other people or 60. I think 30, where it basically is just Tetris 99 but in Mario form, where you can basically thwart other people by, doing something really good on your end and things like that, basically handicapping other people and stuff like that. So that seemed pretty interesting. I think that dropped today. What else? Of course, the big marquee. Well, no, actually, there was some before that. They did reveal Mario Kart real life. I forgot, I forgot what they called it, but basically, I guess that they were more so toting the toy, but basically, you technically can play Mario Kart in real life with actual Mario Kart cars that I'm assuming you can control via the Bluetooth connectivity with the Nintendo Switch, and it showed that the cart itself had a camera on it, which was presumably how you could view it. And then they also had tracks or manual tracks you can lay out. So that's pretty interesting if that actually delivers in terms of does what it was presented that it does. But considering Nintendo, I feel like they've generally had a pretty good track record of being very creative with their products and stuff, and actually products actually working really well from a low technology and resource standpoint, if that makes sense. So not having to utilize very expensive materials to make something very creative that works reliably. So that's pretty cool. That was pretty interesting. I wouldn't get it because I mean, it seems like something you just use and play for like maybe a couple hours and be done with it, put it up somewhere. But for kids, man, yeah, for kids, that's a godsend. I would want that as a Christmas present if I was a kid for sure. Um, and then I think after that, they had this whole blowout of all Mario crossover stuff with other Nintendo IP, Smash Brothers, Platoon, to name a few. And then they got real meaty. They got what we were all waiting for, what we all wanted. Super Mario 3D All Stars, which includes the original Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, which is the pretty obvious question is why no Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is weird, but um who knows? Some people are saying that probably it's just because they're actually going to give Galaxy 2 a legit remake treatment and add some content, stuff like that, but who knows? That's still weird. And then the weirder part is that they like legit omitted a lot of their Mario titles. Like they did like a full like recap of the Mario series in terms of the mainline Mario games. And they like had a lot of obvious omissions, especially like skipping Galaxy 2 and a couple other ones, at least I recall. But I mean, hey, we got a lot of highly requested Mario's ported to the coming to the Switch. So that's always a good thing. But the weirdest point aspect about this though is that the fact that this is timed content. This game is timed until March 2021. So basically, and this is both digitally and physically. So let's say come March 2021, you're like, hey man, yeah, I've been hearing some good stuff about Super Mario 3D All Stars. Let me go pick it up and play it. And no, oh man, nope. Nintendo like, well, darn, you just missed it. Yeah, just February. You were just here February 29th. You would have been able to play it and get it, but now you can't because we're Nintendo. Sorry. That's kind of messed up. That's kind of messed up that you won't be able to you will not be able to purchase or purchase this game digitally or physically after March 2021. Something just feels very grimy about that. I mean, considering though, I mean, Nintendo has done that in the past. I think with Legend of Zelda, I think that Masters Edition, that was the only way you could play the, I think, original Legend of Zelda, the 3D Zelda trilogy at the time. Um, yeah, that's just grimy, man. It's just why. So it just Nintendo, like them dumb Disney antics where they, oh, it's in the vault. You better get it before it's gone. So get it now. You won't be able to get it anymore. It's Nintendo being Nintendo with this like false sense of limited quantity or yeah, limited demand, rare demand. All these tactics are Nintendo being Nintendo. Let's if we're gonna be honest. If we're gonna be honest. All in all, as somebody who technically hasn't really beaten, yeah, I haven't really even beaten any of the 3D Mario games. Definitely beat Mario 3. Pretty sure I beat Super Mario World and the original Mario. But all the newer Marios I've played for sure, but I haven't necessarily beaten. So this is definitely a good entry point more than any to jump in the Mario series. It's cool to see that some of the Wiimote functionality is coming to Mario Galaxy. For I think specifically if you're second player, you can still do the Wiimote functionality, which I do recall. I know some people are in an uproar about that if people want to play two player, you're kind of restricted to that, which is like it's understandable, especially people with Switch lights saying like I can't play two player, I need a Wiimote to do that, or in a Joy-Con to do that. But it's like uh a Switch Lite only has permanent a controller setup. So I think maybe they were talking about specifically you if you wanted to play Super Mario Galaxy, you had to use a Joy-Con. You couldn't play it technically on a Switch Lite because, you know, it defeats the whole purpose of a Switch Lite. But I believe that was squashed. So all in all, pretty interesting. A bit of a bummer that Super Mario 64 isn't up-resed. It seems like it would have been a perfect time to do it, but I think you can do widescreen at least. stretch it out to that 16:9 aspect ratio, which is cool. So, um, yeah, I'm definitely getting it. Um, yeah, perfect excuse now to jump jump back into Mario. Yeah, I still got to finish Odyssey. I got that whenever when that came out, and I still have yet to finish that. Um, yeah. So all in all, good on Nintendo. Now you can bring out Zelda collection, and make it timed. You can also bring out Metroid collection, make it timed as well, cause Nintendo, you gonna be Nintendo. You just want to be making stuff rare and exclusive just to make stuff rare and exclusive. I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. Moving on. Um, Potentially breaking everybody's hearts. Uh, probably one of the most unexpected people you'd hear this news from. Ubisoft did um, reveal that the PS5 won't support PS1, PS2, and PS3 backwards compatibility. I believe it was on Ubisoft's site via an FAQ for the game, um, where they were answering specific questions. I forgot what they said specifically, but essentially they ultimately said that backwards compatibility will be available for supported PlayStation 4 titles, but would not be possible for PS3, PS2, and PlayStation games. But since then, like I think like maybe hours after that, they said the page was removed. So, uh, I mean that could entail a lot of things. Um, Potentially, backwards compatibility could still be a thing, or just Sony is just doing damage control and trying to mitigate those damages of the negativity that people will have against um PS5 not being the God's machine without not having all that backwards compatibility with PS3, PS2, PS1. So, I mean, I highly doubt that's the case. I'm pretty certain PS5 won't have any backwards compatibility other than PS4. I will be delightfully surprised if that wasn't the case, but I'm not gonna keep my hopes up at this point. I think Ubisoft told us what we didn't want to hear, but needed to hear. Um, so definitely would be a great surprise if it did. Um, but I'm very doubtful about it. And then Xbox on the other end, just churning out them backwards compatible titles, them classics that you can play today. I think, and on top of that, they've done a really good job of getting a lot of titles that at least a wide amount of people generally appreciated and liked, which is cool. So, yeah, yeah. RIP PS5 being the console to rule them all. But I mean, when you weigh it out, technically, it's like, would you want a PS5 that could support PS1, PS2, PS3, but cost like 8,000? Not 8,000. That's crazy. At least like $1,000, or PS5 that is only backwards compatible PS4, but like 400. That depends. It depends on how. Mm, man, that's an interesting question. I just kind of that just gave me an epiphany, really. I'd have to you uh uh mm, mm, mm. I don't know about that. Um but I mean I doubt that it regardless because that's a lot of resources and raising the price of a loss that the PlayStation would generally lose, um which I know their goal is to reduce their loss because I think most if not all consoles sell at a loss where they when they sell the parts they purchase to make the console basically cost more than what they generally sell the console for. Um yeah, so yeah, I don't know. When you kind of rule all that out, put all that in consideration, considering the, you know, travesty that was a PS3 from a initial launch standpoint, I don't think that's gonna happen. Eh, would be cool though. Would be cool though. Hopefully they don't try to do. Just say they don't. I hope they don't try to freaking tote PS Now and try to boast that as, oh yeah, you can play your PS2 games on PS Now, our streaming service, where you know we stream the game, but it's not native. You get, you know, lag, but yeah. Uh keeping that PS5 I can't even say it. Oh, the segue. Oh, I hate it. It's like when you think of something when you're saying it and you're thinking about it, it's funny and you can't help it. That's what happened. So I'm gonna do it. All right. Keeping the PS5 depression train going. Choo choo. Oh man. I got it. I'm gonna try it again. Oh man. I gotta keep my cheeks red. Keeping the PS5 depression train going. Choo choo. Um, PS5 also, on top of not having potentially more than likely not being backwards compatible with older, cherished and prized consoles, will also not have an optical audio port. RIP. It's been a good run. It's been a good run. So now officially both consoles will not have an optical audio port. Hurts my soul, man. As somebody who personally really loves optical audio in terms of just how my whole setup is kind of engineered and catered to optical audio port. This one hurts. Hurts a lot. Hurts a lot. Tear almost came out, but I fought it. I fought it hard. Um but I mean, I get it at the same time. The more robust audio formats are they are able to be pushed out with HDMI. Um, and then now I believe headsets are now with their direct connectivity to consoles can potentially provide potentially better quality than traditional optical audio, which has generally been um what's the word? I guess restricted to a certain extent. So who knows? It sucks, but you know, at least for me personally, I figured out a way to still get optical audio where I know most TVs generally give you an optical audio out option. Then there also are audio extractors, which basically you plug HDMI cable into a box, and then that box will pass through the HDMI signal, but give you a couple options where you can use either a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack or optical audio out that way, and then ideally get your optical audio there. So there are options. It just sucks that it feels like another hoop you gotta jump through to, maintain general overall compatibility with all your systems and stuff. So, um, yeah, it still hurts, man. It's for me, it feels just like when iPhone and Android just dropped the headphone jack completely. I believe Samsung started bringing that back now, but iPhone, everybody's used to it now. Apple just put a pacifier in everybody's mouth. All right, we got earpods. Shut up, shut your ass up, earpods, bitch. It's like, okay, all right, earpods. Let me give them. All right, here you go, $200. That's my clear impression of Apple and customers. I have not succumbed to the earpod earpod fervor, if you will, but yeah, because I mean, I'm not really an earbud guy. That's my issue with Apple earpods is that it just seems like for at least always the in ear headsets I had, they will always fall out consistently, and I feel like this would be no different. I know there's like aftermarket third party knockoff, attachments you can put on it, but it just feels like if I'm doing that, then why do I want to get why do I want an earpods then? It defeats the whole purpose of the intended uh goal of the product. I feel, but I digress. RIP optical audio port. You always hold a special place in my heart. The red beam that you put out, your thin cords that are all so light and maneuverable. Um, the crisp audio of footsteps I can hear when playing Call of Duty. RIP optical audio. Gone, never forgotten. Sorry, I needed that. I needed that for myself. Moving on. Um, that man, that man, that mysterious person known as Dust Golem, aka the Capcom leaker. He dropped some goddamn info, if we ever heard any. Um, so it's a lot to divulge. Actually, he had a lot of stuff to just you gotta digest. So I'll just read his tweet. In other news, RE8 will most likely be great. RE4 is in a bit of a worrying position right now. Silent Hill is still in development. Something Shenmue related will be revealed in 1 and 2 weeks. PS5 event first half of September. Monster Hunter Switch is being revealed soon. Have a good day. It's like how you gonna drop all this hotness and then be like, have a good day? God damn you, Dust Golem. So to try to it's a lot it's a lot to process in this simple tweet right now. So okay, RE8 most likely be great. That's a given. Um yeah, I can't it's nothing really contest with that. RE4 in a bit of a worried position. That's interesting. Um it's a lot to interpret from that. Like what is going on? Is there some trouble with the story, how the particular decisions on what they should bring to the remake? Who knows? But that's from one of my favorite games of all time getting a remake. That's very concerning. That's very concerning. Super concerning, but we'll see. Yeah. Silent Hill in development, I guess that's pretty much a given. Something Shamu related revealed in 1 to 2 weeks. I think I would assume either. Yeah, that's hard to. I want to say it could be Shenmue 4, but I don't think Shenmue 3 sold that well. So I don't think it's Shenmue 3. I think if anything, it's likely Shenmue DLC that maybe um concludes Shenmue, because I haven't even I freaking haven't even played Shenmue. I'm kind of I just had a wave of disappointment myself, but at least from what I heard from Shenmue without getting spoiled, is that it seemed to not be conclusive, that it seemed to lead to, oh, well, we'll reveal this or we'll conclude this in Shenmue 4. And it's like, what? Which I understand for a lot of people that like waited like what 12, 15, no, 20, yeah, damn near 20 years to get some conclusion, since two, I'm pretty sure, left off on a super huge cliffhanger, and then to also leave this on what I would assume is another cliffhanger is definitely very just, you relieve my blue balls to give me more blue balls. So I would assume it's DLC. Um, or Shamu Cross Yakuza. That's just, I'm just being unrealistic, but I made a dumbass tweet about that. But um, yeah, that will be. I don't see that happening. No, not at all. Yeah, Shimu. It would have to be DLC. It will reward people who invested in Shimu. Um, mitigate cost in terms of having to get funding and do the whole Shenmue funding process again, which I think now that we've gotten Shenmue 3 and it seemed like the reception wasn't that necessarily well received. um don't think that's probably the smartest thing to do. I think it's just going to be some DLC that maybe ideally concludes the story of Shenmue 3, or Shenmue as a whole. Who knows? Man, I gotta fix that. Shenmue 3. Um, and then PS5 event first half of September. I freaking hope so. It is. Let's just realize how freaking crazy it is that we're like 2 months away from these consoles being released. We don't have a price from neither. That is surreal to me that we we don't even know what these consoles cost, and they're supposed to be coming out 2 months from now. Still crazy. So I hope PS5 will have an event the first half of September, so we actually know what we're getting into, and blindlessly blindlessly blindly blindlessly what blindly pre-ordering these consoles that we don't really even know what we're getting into. Surreal to me, but I hope so. Then Xbox ideally undercut PS5, and then Xbox will have a good head start of this generation, and then the whole cycle will repeat next generation, and then it just keeps going. Who knows? But and then probably I'd say the biggest takeaway from this tweet is Monster Hunter Switch being revealed soon. That is magnificent. Big Monster Hunter fan. Love Monster Hunter Generations. Still play it in conjunction with Monster Hunter World. It's sad that all these people that jump from generations to world. Just don't, I don't like generations anymore. Ugh, too ancient for me. Come on, guys. Ah, just I don't know. Maybe I'm just a masochist. I guess I that must be it because I don't know. It's a lot of aspects of generations I really do like, and still like going back to. The world is great, fantastic, of course. Quality of life, Monster Hunter Quality of Life Edition, but I don't know. I feel like it's always good to kind of humble yourself sometimes. Give you take yourself back to some classic Monster Hunter where I forgot my items. Oh well, I gotta figure it out. Gotta do what I got. Or I forgot to eat. Well, I gotta do what I got. Monster Hunter. I miss Monster Hunter. Gotta do what you got edition. Okay, so maybe just some of the few of us that really love Monster Hunter go back to the uh this is what I implore you people. If you're a fan of Monster Hunter, and you more than likely, if you are, you probably play Monster Hunter World. I think it is good for a lot of people who maybe started with Monster Hunter World to potentially go back to Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Generations. That's what it's called, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I think it gives you the best of both worlds. It has a fair amount of quality of life stuff that Monster Hunter does implement, maybe to a greater extent, but still is good, man. It still has some of that hardcore feel. It's just the greatest hits of Monster Hunter previous gen. Um, but I'm getting on a whole tangent. I'm sorry. It just hurts me that people who went to Monster Hunter World don't want to come back to Generations. It's great. Missing out on these blessings. I'm just saying. And it keeps going on sale fairly often too. So I say whenever it's on sale, just take that dive in, put your foot in. Hopefully it's like, you like it. You like the temperature a little bit. Or, it's like a cold pool. You put your foot in it, it's a little cold. I'm like, oh, I want to put my foot out. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Put your foot back in. Keep it in there. Keep it in there. Then you're gonna get acclimated to it. Then you're like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. I'm glad I didn't put my foot out. It's Monster Hunter World. Or no, Monster Hunter Switch. That's what that is. That's what that is. Monster Hunter Switch. So, at least backing on that rumor, I believe there were some more details that substantiated after that. That I think it's also using a what I assume is a highly modified RE engine to run on Switch. I believe they said that Capcom tried to do it for Resident Evil, some of the Resident Evils, the current generation Resident Evils, but they didn't. It just wasn't working out in terms of that development. But whatever they did now, I assume they just heavily modified the RE engine to run on Switch for this exclusive Monster Hunter title. I hope it's just a legit mainline Monster Hunter. I don't really kind of be pretty disappointed if it's like Monster Hunter Stories or pretty much the side stuff. I don't know, for them to be putting all these resources into this, I feel like it could potentially just be a legit mainline Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter 5. You have Monster Hunter World and then you have Monster Hunter 5. And then who knows? Maybe they take and implement a lot of quality of life improvements in World, probably put a little bit of that into 5, but maybe make this what's the word? The Dark Souls of Monster Hunter, but I feel like that's not really accurate because Monster Hunter was kind of like Dark Souls before Dark Souls, if we want to get real granular. But Uh that's tough. That's real tough. Yeah, I just say go full hardcore for Monster Hunter on Switch. I say go back to the hardcore roots, even though I mean not too hardcore, you know what I mean? Like pretty much use Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate as a I guess reference point, and then maybe do a little bit more quality life stuff. Um this is probably a very controversial opinion, but I think I would totally be fine if they still kept loaded zones. Personally, if they kept loaded zones, I think there's some kind of I find some kind of nuance in that, especially after playing Monster Hunter World, that like it adds a whole element of what's the word? A whole element of tactics, I'd say, compared to a world where yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. So I don't know, man. I at least if I had to suspect, considering all the resources, it seems like they're putting into this highly modifying the RE engine, which is like a very robust engine in general. I think I think it's gonna be Monster Hunter 5. I'm gonna call it right now, Monster Hunter 5. Then you still have Monster Hunter World, on Monster Hunter World 2 coming on, next generation consoles, but Monster Hunter 5, like legit mainline, I guess mainline is maybe too strong, but still the legit mainline Monster Hunter, I guess. I don't know. That's what I think. I think yeah. I mean, Switch is a obvious prominent console. Huge in Japan, which Japan is very big on portable consoles, aka a la the Switch. I think they're gonna do Monster Hunter 5. Maybe Monster Hunter World, I guess. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I would not want Monster Hunter World because that would just be directly in comparison to you're directly going to compare, especially if you played Monster Hunter World, you're going to heavily compare it to the higher powered ports. God forbid PC port is like not even a question. Yeah, I don't think they would do Monster Hunter World. They will port it to the Switch. They could, but I don't think so. I think they're gonna go original and just do Monster Hunter 5 and give it its particular art style and have some missing things. It's tough, man. I could see them going multiple ways. I think but I personally think they would do Monster Hunter 5. I think Monster Hunter 5, but still, have the Monster Hunter World series go on their generation of consoles, and then Monster Hunter 5 will be Switch. 'Cause that's kind of what it's been like, really, when we think about it. Yeah. But I mean, I think we won't have to wait too long. I think it's pretty much a given. TGS will probably find out since a lot of the Capcom games, specifically Monster Hunter, is huge in Japan. So I'm pretty certain that's definitely where we'll find or get that a reveal and announcement, as well as I think they did confirm RE8 will be some more details will be revealed at Tokyo Game Show as well. So man, that's pretty cool though. Monster Hunter Switch hopefully is good. I'm just gonna I'm still sticking to it. Monster Hunter 5. Monster Hunter 5 for Switch. I feel it. I believe it. I feel it. Moving on. Xbox Series S still can't keep keep itself secret. So apparently, just in the just most shameful ways. So uh, a user, a person who purchased a recent standard Xbox One controller, not in the new ones off the legal market, but pretty much interestingly, when he opened the box, he got a Xbox Game Pass invite, or trial that they stick in a pretty much anything really. He got it, and on it said, download to play games on Xbox Series X and S. Yet again, the same labeling that was on the leaked controllers, as well. So it's like who you fooling, Microsoft? But again, I guess they're still keeping their mouth shut because of making a price. What's the word? If they were to announce it, they obviously gotta have to explain a difference in justification of price or price difference between the X and S. So understandable why they're still keeping their mouth shut. But Jesus, somebody just revealed their price so the other can reveal their price, so we know what we're getting into and we can just get into it already. Just come on, guys. I feel like some point Sony and Microsoft have to just come to just sign some damn treaty or equivalent where you're like, okay, hey, if we just both have an even price, that's it. Just both have an even price, and let's just reveal our prices so we know we won't undercut each other. If you undercut me, then it's hell to pay and you're gonna die, or I don't know. That's maybe a little too extreme, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah. So keeping in line with that, also revealed that the Series X will be launching earlier than the PS5. Supposedly they're targeting November's first week, and then PS5 launching in mid-November, which definitely seems to line up with some of the, I guess, was just very vague announcement windows and using the terminology of launch window. But people are saying November 13th, but people don't know what that is. So is that technically the release date or is it not? And then, yeah, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Also keeping in line with launch or quote unquote launch window games. And on a better end of things, Demon Souls actually was rated in Korea. So again, for people that may not know, generally when a game is rated, normally that's a pretty big indication that a game is going to be announced, or not announced, or released fairly soon. So a good sign for Demon Souls, because I know in some of the marketing it seemed like it was actually gonna be a launch title, but not. But then again, they were using that um, launch window shield, launch window curtain, where they basically it could be when the game console comes out, it could be like 3 months after, who knows, so moving on. Going back to the Tokyo Game Show news, they did reveal their schedule, and Xbox coming out with them guns. All right, Xbox got them cojones. Xbox coming out with them cojones. They like, you know what, hit me. Xbox is actually having their showcase on the first day, which is very interesting. Considering how horrible Xbox is in Japan, at least reception wise and sales wise, that it's, I believe, their worst market, from a sales standpoint. I think it's just, I believe it's, I would assume, I know if I were to speculate real quick, that I think is just the use of the X, which I believe in Japan is always seen as negative. So I don't know, just that iconography. I believe just a lot of people in Japan just write it off, just by that alone. So very interesting for them to start the show. I think they said it's a 50-minute showcase, which is a lot for Xbox. But then at the same time, they got Yakuza Like a Dragon that's going to be exclusive to the Series X. You technically can get it on PS4, but won't be as pretty, won't be as glorious, won't be as efficiently loading as the Series X version, which PlayStation 5 is, they said it's yet to be revealed. So that's probably going to be their biggest marquee thing they're going to be toting since Yakuza. Yakuza is huge in Japan. So I'll say that Fantasy Star Online 2. And then who knows what else. So I don't know. Part of me is thinking, I don't know. We might get that Sega Series X. I believe we talked about that in a couple of previous episodes, but I think we might get the the Sega Series X rebranding of the console, because I feel like that will pretty much what they would have to do at this point to try and even kind of rid their bad reputation they've kind of, I guess, amassed in Japan. I would assume. I don't know, from somebody from somebody from the outside looking in. I would assume that would be the case, but who knows? Who even knows at this point? Yeah, Square Enix. I mean, I feel like they gotta reveal something new. Maybe I don't think. I think it's too early for Final Fantasy 7 Part 2, whatever they name that. Sega, Atlas, Capcom Showcase, and yeah, they said for sure Resident Evil Village and more. Maybe we get that Devil May Cry Special Edition, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. For sure gonna be that Monster Hunter announcement. I don't even know what else after that. Resident Evil Outbreak. I'm gonna call it right now. Resident Evil Outbreak HD Collection. Capcom, if you're smart, you would do that. Don't be dumb, Capcom. I swear to God. Swear to God. I would lose my shit if they announced that. I'm just saying that. I kind of half lying, joking. I mean, come on, Capcom. Jesus, the climate is now Capcom. I'm just saying. Cyberpunk, which is interesting. What else? Koei Tecmo. They said Ryza 2 in an unannounced game. No, it's Ninja Gaiden 4? Huh? It's been a while, Ninja Gaiden 4, I doubt it'd be Dead or Alive or anything like that. That'd be pretty cool. Ninja Gaiden 4, I'd be down for that. Koei Tecmo Musu Special. So yeah, they said 2 new Dynasty Warrior games. Feel like they would take a break from Dynasty Warriors. Well, they said Dynasty Wars, but no, it could be like Samurai Wars or what's the crossover between Dynasty Warriors and I forgot what they called, something Warriors, where it was the crossover. Scarlet Nexus, Sword Art Online. It's got a lot of potential. I'm definitely looking most forward to a Capcom and Xbox to see why they got some cojones. They got some up their sleeve. If I guess the one big disappointment though is that they said no major Xbox Series X announcement. So again, no damn price. Jesus, somebody Somebody just say it. Just say it, please. Just put it out. Just pull it out. Just pull it out. PS, PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft. Somebody just pull it out, please. Just pull it out. Um, I'm if we being honest right now. If we're being completely honest. All right, I think that's pretty much all the news. We'll get into what I've been playing. You know that Modern Warfare. Actually, not that much. Just a little bit over the weekend, just to capitalize on that triple threat XP. So I was pretty close. So I got all that. I'm pretty much done for the season. This is weird. I do like it though, because it gives me time to play other stuff and I don't have to keep playing the game, I guess. But it is, I do have to admit, it's kind of weird how they have it where, you max out the rank in Call of Duty. It's pretty much it. It's like, well, you really shouldn't be playing anymore because you maxed out and you maxed out the battle pass. So there's really no reason. But I do like how of battle passes, Modern Warfare is very respectful of your time. I felt like it's not it feels like it's not as like insanely demanding like it feels like Fortnite is. But then again, I can never play Fortnite more than like 2-3 games, so I don't know. Outside of that, I can say I finally finished Ghost of Tsushima. Yes. It was like, I think it was 60-hour game, but it felt way longer than that for some reason. I think maybe because I was taking breaks from it, long extended breaks in between since it came out. So maybe that's probably why. But thoroughly enjoyed that game. Man, just after all is said and done, bravo. Bravo Sucker Punch. Just a great samurai. I was talking about this on Twitter. Great samurai love letter to the culture and just the the whole culture, I guess. Yeah, man. Just everything was done really right. Just that world is beautiful, man. It's never, it's some games like, oh man, it looks good, but just this game in terms of just the overall, I don't know if it's just the contrast, the detail. I think just the little details. It's kind of like similar to Grand Theft Auto, where just all the numerous little details just make the game stand out that much more. But just with this, I mean, you have that, but you also just have just the game is just outright beautiful and just stunning, man. It's like I've never played a game where I've just been in awe and I just have to just actually stand still and just rotate my camera around and just absorb like just how beautiful the damn environment is. And I've done that like so many times in this game. It's crazy. I'd be very surprised, disappointed if this does not win numerous ridiculous amounts of best graphics art direction awards, because they freaking nailed it on all fronts possible. Ugh, ugh, ugh. That game is beautiful. All in all, yeah, played all the side quests, did pretty much all the side stuff. I had a great time with it. Combat, really good. I mean, I understand some people may not like it based on the rock paper scissors thing. Kind of similar. It reminded me a lot of Devil May Cry, or my bad. I don't even want to disown or disrespect Devil May Cry like that. DMC, where it has this mechanic where if you want to defeat this enemy, you got to switch to this stance or this thing that counters that enemy and lets you defeat them and stuff like that. Which it can kind of be a pain sometime, but you can technically still um hurt enemies if you're fighting an enemy that isn't as susceptible to the current stance you're in. So um yeah, played the story, very pretty satisfying at the end. You definitely get a pretty reasonable payoff. Yeah, man. It was a very solid, great game, I have to say. It's I wouldn't say game of the year, but it's definitely up there. I would put it top five for sure. Top five game of the year, I'd say. Yeah. I confidently say that. Couldn't nobody I think no game could beat Streets of Rage 4 personally for me, but it's up there. Up there for game of the year for sure. In contrast of game of the year. Oh, it's funny. Oh man, in contrast to game of the year, uh, I'm actually been playing Deadly Premonition 2. Finally got back to it, and they actually made some updates and patches to improve the horrible performance of the game. I mean, it didn't completely resolve it. There's still some substantial hiccups here and there, but definitely much better than what I remember when I initially played it when it dropped. But yeah, man. It still hits those same I guess not feels but same just those same hooks that the original Deadly Premonition, hit. Just the campiness, the weirdness, the zaniness, and the it's a controversial opinion, but the lackluster performance, which in this game I feel adds to the kind of weird charm and appeal for some strange reason. Um, but it feels like that. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, I ran into somewhat of a wall because I'm like I didn't know how to start things out. It felt like with the game, it was like a lot of ambiguity in terms of what to do. But I started getting to a rhythm, found the rhythm, and I'm starting to actually, thoroughly enjoy the game now. So I think I'm like, feels like 10-ish, 10, 12 hours in, I want to say. I've been doing a lot of side stuff mainly. And then, you know, at least that's my go to. I generally, depending on the game, if I really like it, or uh, most games pretty much I do that. I don't really make an exception, but pretty much I generally try to do all the side stuff if I like it, and then do the side main story. Kind of just been my go to. So thoroughly enjoying it. I can't comfortably recommend it to people, but if you do like campy campy, what is the word I'm looking for? Campy wonky. A campy wonky, charming in the most indirect way game, then Deadly Premonition may be for you. That's the best. I know I'm not selling that at all, but you'd have to believe me if that's up to your alley. Then Deadly Premonition is that if that's what you're looking for. That's admittedly that's my shit. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I just love it. Okay, I wanna. If I was in a wide group of people, people say, "Oh man, Deadly Premonition. That's a shitty ass game. Ugh, fuck that game. Ugh, it's horrible, horrible." I'd be like, "Oh man, yeah, man, that's crazy. Oh man, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah." Secretly, I'm like, couldn't even agree with you, bro. That's my shit. My shit. Reminds me a lot of Way of the Samurai. In terms of just the weird wonkiness, but deep down under all the mechanically flawed stuff is a pretty, sweet little cookie that, you just got to keep digging in that sugar you going to get. Okay, not sugar. Maybe maybe molasses is probably more accurate, but you get what I'm saying. So, um yeah. So, also been keeping up, at least switching gears, the media. Slam Dunk still been I've been falling off a little bit, but I think I'm on episode 9, 10. So, still watching. I forgot the last episode. The last episode was, oh yeah, trying to get Sakuragi to shoot properly, but all he want to do is dunk. And then the funny antics with Rukawa, where they're like fighting each other and like, having that rivalry, and Sakuragi is having that jealousy of Rukawa. Freaking, oh my god, Rukawa, I suck your dick. Sakuragi just getting pissed. This, well, just why he's so I feel it. I understand it. So yeah, I've been enjoying that, but outside of that, that's pretty much been it for me. So with all that said and done, I think that will conclude episode 71 of Switches Sites. If you're listening to this podcast on your favorite podcasting platforms, wherever that may be, feel free to like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff, good or bad. Any feedback is appreciated. If you want us to submit some questions to the show, you can submit them at aswishtv@gmail.com. If I get enough, I may dedicate a segment to that. If you want to watch this, watch this podcast live. You can catch it on Twitch TV/aswitch, where I do this every Thursday, ideally at 4 or 5 p.m. window, if all the stars align. You can also catch the archive of these podcasts on youtube.com/aswitch as well, where I do post other gameplays, and I just dropped a highlights video of all pretty much generally my Twitch highlights, with a little other miscellaneous stuff in there, but definitely great to start getting back to editing again. Had a internal battle with using Vegas or Premiere. Premiere is just such a high, just I feel like a video editing software is like just a freaking it's like a language, really. It's just like a huge ass just mental relearning and rewiring of your head in terms of where to go for stuff, and just your visual comfortability with, just, and then muscle memory. So I don't know. I think I'll just try to do a hybrid, at least for maybe more deep stuff, Premiere, and then more, not necessarily ungenuine, but more quicker stuff, Vegas. I'm just so used to it. It's hard when you're used to stuff, you know what I mean? So, well, yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter at aswitch, where I post pretty much gaming related stuff alongside what's the how even I'm on, I mean, along it's because I'm thinking in my head, but alongside of nigga related stuff, if we're gonna be honest. If you want gamer related stuff with a little hint of nigga, a switch. I'm just that's the best way to describe it. Um if we being honest. Yeah. think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully next episode we finally get some damn prices. More than likely won't, because freaking these people playing the longest game of chicken chicken chicken. You know what? That's the definitive term for that. Chicken. Chicken ever. So who knows? Who knows? But until next time, guys, don't cough. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched. And get your game on. Oh yeah.